Hello YouTubers and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host Novus Gorvius. And we have some disappointing news to discuss in relation to gaming. Obviously you can tell by the title, and apart from the title I presume many if not all of you will have heard of this already. But here's what happened. I think it was the start of this week. It might have been about, I'm going to say, I think it was Wednesday evening. There was rumours and stuff going around that E3 2020 had been cancelled for obvious reasons. I'm not going to say it because apparently people get demonetized on YouTube for mentioning the name. Not that I'm monetized anyway, but for obvious reasons E3 was cancelled. That's what the rumours were going around saying. And what I believed that would be the case, and that it was more likely than not that E3 would be cancelled. I didn't exactly believe the rumours. I was waiting for an official announcement from the ESA that E3 had been cancelled. So I wasn't getting over panicked or anything by all these rumours or leaks that were going around. But then a couple of hours, nearly a day later, it was revealed. The ESA came out and said E3 2020 had been cancelled. This is a pretty massive blow for gaming. Because what's going to happen now is this is the biggest event of gaming in the year, where all the major companies come together, reveal new consoles, new games, and now it's suddenly gone off the calendar for this year. So what's going to happen instead? What's going to fill that void? The ESA did mention online. They were looking at an online event and that they'd keep us updated on that. So that seems like the logical way of going things. I believe Phil Spencer came out and said that Microsoft were looking at doing an online event, but they'd be up to date with us again in the future. No word from Sony as far as I know, or EA or Bethesda or Activision, and surprisingly no word from Nintendo. Now Nintendo are in a weirdly unique situation in the fact that they'd be the company affected the least by all this, because Nintendo's presentations for the last 8 years, I'd say, have been all online presentations. Nintendo's E3 has always been over the course of the 3 days. They'd have their spotlight / presentation / direct on the first day, I believe. Or sometimes, I think last year was on the second day. But they'd have that would go on for about 40 minutes to an hour. Then for all 3 days they'd have the Nintendo Treehouse going, which is where they'd have Smash tournaments going on, as well as, Splatoon and other competitive games that they had going. And this is where Nintendo would show off gameplay of some games that were announced. They'd go into more detail. The press conferences and stuff were in there, so that's where Nintendo conclude their physical presence at E3. But other than that, Nintendo don't have, or never really have had for the last few years, a physical presence at E3. But still though, it is weird that they're still silent after this news came out. Microsoft came out and said something. We know Sony weren't planning to be at E3 anyway, although they're going to have to cancel their event now because of this as well, because let's face it, more than 100 people are obviously going to be there, so Sony are going to have to figure out an online thing. While it seems obvious that Nintendo may still go ahead with and just release all their E3 material online, we don't know. We need confirmation. Nintendo have said nothing. They haven't even addressed about E3 being cancelled this year. I can't understand why. There's no reason why they shouldn't have. In fact, they actually should have said something, even if it's just a confirmation, or that if they can't say anything, that they'll be in touch later on to say that they'll have something. Even that would do fine. But no, whatever is going on, Nintendo have just been silent. It's the weirdest thing. And as many people are pointing out, I think it's March 31st is the end of Nintendo's fiscal year. Every March 31st, at least for the Switch's lifetime, Nintendo have had to come out, and by then they'd have shown like at least a single direct or a mini direct to show the general public what their major titles or semi-major titles for the year would be, and the people with shares in Nintendo and all this would have an idea of what Nintendo's year was looking up to be. So this is where Nintendo's investors and stuff would come into play, and every March 31st they have an idea of what Nintendo's line for the year, and that's what keeps them going. Nintendo said absolutely nothing. And if they don't say something by March 31st, that's like 2 weeks away, not even, their business is just going to come to a standstill and just drop off. And I can't understand it, like why Nintendo would risk leaving it that close. They risk running their business on like thin ground here. They risk losing quite a bit of money. So this is a very dangerous move I feel Nintendo are pulling. People have pointed out, and I will credit Rule of Two Review for doing a video on this, as he's one of my favorite YouTubers at the moment, especially for Nintendo news, that it's quite possible when Animal Crossing comes out next, is it Friday I think it is, Nintendo might say something on Monday then about, they might announce a direct or something on Monday for that Wednesday. It could be possible that they want to get Animal Crossing out the way. After all, it was a 2019 game, originally was delayed, so maybe Nintendo are sort of being silent so this game can get the focus it needs, and then they'll hopefully throw everything at us afterwards. I don't know. At the same time, like, Animal Crossing is huge, but is it big enough that people will rush out in droves to buy it? Or that, like, I feel if they announce a direct right afterwards, it's going to overshadow the release of the game. I don't know. If that's what's going on, Nintendo are running really risky ground here. They might not even make it last long enough to June if they keep this up. Like, we need information. This isn't even, as Rule of Two Review, Rob points out, this is no longer just a case of just the fans feeling entitled. This is a case of, for the sake of the company, Nintendo needs to come out and say something. They're the only company. I mean, okay, we were all thinking it was the you-know-what that was causing Nintendo to be silent and stuff in 2020. But as I said, Microsoft have come out in response to E3. I think some other companies came out as well. Nintendo didn't, and they're one of the major people at E3. And bear in mind, the issue with Nintendo being silent goes all the way back to September. So this predates all that's going on in the world. I know I might sound like a little annoyed or something, but I'm just kind of frustrated at this point. You know, there's only so many times we can keep bringing up about Nintendo being silent, but these are troubled times for Nintendo. I really don't know what to say, how we can stand up for Nintendo at this point, because they're just sort of, I don't know, I hope by March 31st, Nintendo come out and give like a massive direct. At this point, I won't even care if it's a terrible direct, like it sometimes is, even if it's just one of like, well no, okay, if it's a third-party direct, I'm still going to be pretty unhappy, but we need some first-party titles for this year. Even if they're not massive titles, we need something. And I really sincerely hope Nintendo come out and say something. But yeah, that remains to be seen. Hopefully we're not going to end up in a situation where Nintendo's fiscal year ends and we've heard nothing from them, and because that's going to be very severe for the company. Other than that, in regards to that, I wanted a bit of a sidetrack there, I apologize, but in relation to E3, Rob also brought up in his video that it could, like, will all these online events be in the same week of when E3 normally is, or will it be scattered throughout the summer or the month of June? I think they should be scattered throughout the month of June, but I would like for Nintendo to kind of release their stuff along the June 9th to 13th mark. It would be nice if some of the if Microsoft and, well, not Sony, but since E3's gone, okay, Sony. So Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo came out on those like few days and all released material over the course of those few days, I think would be pretty okay, but I don't know, it remains to be seen. Nintendo haven't said anything. It's been a couple of days and there's been nothing, so I don't know what to say anymore. This is it's not even, as you said, it's not even like the health problem that's keeping them quiet at this stage. They're just being silent for whatever stubborn reason. Hopefully this all works itself out. But yeah, that was the whole purpose of this video, just to give bring you the update on the sad news that E3 has been cancelled. Before I go, it's bring up one other thing. Is this the end of E3 as we know it? The way I see it, I feel like it is. I hate to be the pessimist here, but I see it that way because not only do people for some reason seem to be getting very angry at E3 in the last few years, but with E3 2020 gone, it means companies will have put online events and presentations in place. So by the time E3 2021 comes around, and they're saying it's going to happen, hopefully nothing happens that causes it to be cancelled again, but by the time E3 2021 comes around, companies will already be well prepared for doing an online event anyway, so many of them might not come back to E3. Worst case scenario, it turns out to be pretty blank and it fails. But the ESA promised 2021 would be bigger and badder than ever, so hopefully the scenario here ends with it being one of the best E3s, if not the best yet, and you know, Nintendo and all the big companies have like a huge presence and all goes well. But I don't know if Nintendo or even last that long at this point. But yeah, that's the point I wanted to bring up there at the end before wrapping this up. I just wanted to get my thoughts on this whole situation out. It's very tragic again, as I said, and coupled on top of the fact that Nintendo just disappeared. It's very upsetting times, really. But who knows? I could upload this video and like an hour or a day later, Nintendo might make some massive announcement. To be fair, I did forget. March 10th, which is Mario Day, they did announce a Lego Mario thing, which I thought was a game, but it's a Lego set. It looks pretty cool. Not something I'd buy, but it looks really cool, and I hope that sells well. But yeah, other than that, who knows? But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below. Are you devastated by the loss of E3 this year? Do you think E3 2021 will make a comeback? Do you think this marks the end of E3? What do you think is going on with Nintendo? Are we going to hear from them again? Will they make a direct announcement after Animal Crossing comes out on March 20th? And what do you think of the status of some of the other companies involved with E3? Let me know down in the comment section below. So yeah, with that all said, thank you all for watching and please subscribe. Nova Scorvays out.